won 3 of their last 4 now. They beat Mingo Central 55-44, lost to Winfield in that stretch by 13, then came back and had the win over Scott, and then blew out Mingo Central 57-35 on Minor Mountain earlier in the week as well. So this is a Chapmanville team starting to turn the corner a little bit more now. We kind of predicted that once we saw how scrappy they were. Getting Brody Dalton perhaps back will also be a big boost for them. Not sure where he's been at in his progression, but he had that hamstring pull that against Nitro that really hampered him and really set him back. So if Chapmanville gets him back into the lineup again, he was averaging near 20 points a game when he went out. That'll be a big change to the Chapmanville roster as well. But they're starting to see some more of the role players step up, whereas early on in the year they were a lot more hesitant to take their shots because normally that was Obina Anachile Killen or Drew Williamson or Andrew Scholl or people like that taking these shots, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm open, I should shoot. So I think they're starting to adjust to that more and more.
Right. Brandon Napper had a bunch of big shoes to fill for this team for this year. Let's look back, a week ago, like you said, the Skyhawks fell to Chapmanville 59-53. Then they, on Friday night, hosted a very talented Charleston Catholic team. Scott led that game at the half, and there again, the Catholic made some adjustments in the third quarter and won that one 59-46. Then they went on the road, or actually home on Saturday night, hosted Winfield. Scott was in that one right down the road, and there at the end, the Winfield pulled it out with a 60-53 win. It's just like I said, the Scouts have got to find a way to make those adjustments to be able to finish out these ball games.
And again, I think a lot of that's going to fall on people like Calvin White, Reese Carden. Again, this is a young Scott club still. I mean, a lot of juniors and sophomores on this roster, and you've seen some different players step up at different times. Chapmanville's going to be looking after Calvin White, who had 18 in that first game against the Tigers. Landon Stone had a nice game with 13. Carden, they were able to hold him at bay with just 3, but I think you'll see him try and get himself going a little bit more tonight. And on the other end for Chapmanville, they've been trying to get more and more scoring out of some of the role players. We've seen Colton Craddock step up a little bit more and more, along with Devin Workman and company. Be interesting to see who steps up tonight on both sides in those role positions.
We're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back with more after this. This is high school basketball on WVOW, WZAC, Video Productions, and the Skyhawk Sports Network.
When you're buying insurance, would you rather go to someone on Wall Street or someone local on Main Street? The answer is Fairland Hill Insurance Agency, located on Main Street in Madison. Fairland Hill has been serving local residents.
Our world has changed a lot in a short time, but your health and safety remains our #1 priority. We have the supplies needed and processes in place to keep you safe. We've implemented visitor restrictions, and we are reducing physical contact as much as possible. Patients and employees are required to wear masks for your protection and theirs. And your care team is screened daily. So don't wait to get the care that you need. Logan Regional Medical Center, always here for you.
Peyton, what are we doing here?
Welcome to Peytonville. Nationwide helps protect everything you see in here, Brad. Every family, every business, even Mrs. Hoffman's dream of retiring to become a yoga instructor.
Oh, they have backstories.
Here, I got more to show you.
Evans Funeral Home and Cremation Services, founded in 1975 by Riley Joe Evans, is a full-service funeral provider, and 2020 makes it 45 years of offering services that respect all faiths, personal preferences, and financial considerations. They're the only funeral home in Boone, Lincoln, and Logan with its own crematory. Contact Evans Funeral Home and Cremation Services at 304-855-3232 or visit www.evans-funeral-home.com or like Evans Funeral Home and Cremation Services on Facebook to see their updated obituary information.
Turn it over to you to do the Tigers. Starting for the Skyhawks, a forward, number 1, 5'10" junior, Jaron Gator. A junior, 5'11", wearing number 5, a guard, Landon Stone. 5'11" junior, wears number 10. He's a guard, Kevin White. A forward wears number 13, a 6'3" sophomore, Reese Carden, and a guard wearing number 25, a junior, 6'1", Braxton Dolan. And that's your starting lineup for the Scott Skyhawks.
Again, on the other end for the Chapmanville Tigers, you're going to see 6'1" junior Colton Craddock, 5'11" sophomore Devin Workman. And again, he got into double figures against Nitro for the first time on the season about a week or so ago. Isaiah Smith, 6'1" sophomore, the outside threat for this Chapmanville roster. Then on the other side, Brody Dalton, they get him back tonight, 6'5" sophomore, again at 22 against Polka. Still nursing possibly a little bit of that hamstring injury. We'll see how he works it out here tonight. And then Zion Blevins, the 6'6" freshman, getting the start here tonight, as Nathan and I on WVOW predicted that he would likely be in the starting lineup before too long, and here he is getting the start tonight. So those are your lineups for the Tigers and for the Skyhawks.
I got a question. Where did Coach Brad Napper find that young freshman? I'll tell you what, he played a heck of a game last Tuesday night in Madison.
Him, I'm not totally certain on. Again, whenever we ran into COVID situations, I kind of lost track of where everybody was and haven't really had too many conversations with Brad yet. But Brad is pretty high on this young freshman, said that he's very skilled, and you do notice he does a lot of the fundamentals very well on the floor. And he's got good touch from the free throw line. He's got a little bit of an outside game as well. Probably still going to grow a couple more inches as he moves forward. So just be a freshman. He's got a very good basketball IQ and someone that you definitely can see being a big presence in the middle for Chapmanville as he continues to develop.
Coach Sean Ballard, he prides his team on the run and gun this season. They're short, and he tries to make up with it on the floor with speed and make things happen quick. So the Tigers are on the floor. Skyhawks will inbound it across from our location, and we'll be ready to get this one underway.
This will be interesting to see how things get started. You feel like Scott's got to get out to a little bit of a quick start here just to build that momentum. Again, a 5-game losing streak under their belt, trying to break that tonight.
Here we go. Landon Stone inbounds it to Jaron Gator. They come across the timeline. Back to Stone, over to Gator in the far corner. Out in the wing, back out to backcourt. As Braxton Dolan, he goes into the paint, kicks it back over to Jaron Gator. Jaron dribbles into the point, off the glass. It will not go. Zion Blevin with the rebound for Chapmanville. They get the ball down the floor quickly to Smith, and it will be a long three by Devin Workman, and the Tigers take a quick 3-0 lead.
And again, he's the one that hit a couple threes late the other night in the win.
A block by Zion Blevins. Tigers get the rebound. Colton comes down, a little handoff to number 14, and I must have, who has 14 there?
That is Brody Dalton.
Okay, I had him down as 12. Okay.
Yeah, they've got some different numbers on a few of these jerseys.
So Dalton puts a quick 2 on the board. Skyhawk trying to set up. Braxton Dolan takes it into the paint, kicks it back out to the near side. Landon Stone will take a 3, in and out, will not go. Ball loose. Reese Carden comes down with the rebound. He thought about taking a 3. Now they kick it back out around the arc. They get it back into the hands of Braxton. He goes off the glass for a quick 2.
And that was a great take that time on the baseline by Braxton Dolan. He was able to get some space inside on Blevins, who didn't think he was maybe that explosive on the baseline. Got the inside corner and was able to beat him to the rack.
Workman brings the ball down the floor, down to Craddock in the corner to Smith. They kick it back out to the top of the key to Dalton. Dalton across the way to Craddock. Now he throws it in over the head of a couple Skyhawks. They lose the handle. Here comes Reese Carden with the ball for Scott. He's going to try to take it all the way. They block the door. Now he brings it back out and resets the play. Back out between the circles. Now they get it over to the far corner to Gator. Back out to Carden. Braxton Dolan bounces one around the back into Kevin White in the corner. He takes a 3. A shot. It's good, and a whistle. And we may get a bonus shot on that one. The basket is good.
Yeah, and Colton Craddock came flying over there trying to close out on that play and just ran right over top of White in that corner. You could tell how much duress he was under, knowing how effective White can be and what a good shooter he is, and he buries the free throw as well.
So a 4-point play for the Skyhawks, and they take a 6-5 lead here with 6 minutes to go in the contest. Quickly, the Tigers bring the ball down the floor. Workman over to Dalton. Dalton trips up, trying to make something happen. He takes a long jumper off the back of the iron. Craddock comes up the rebound in the far corner. Now they kick it back out to reset. Smith back to Blevins in the far corner. Workman, he takes it. He dribbles into the paint quickly over to Dalton, and Dalton will put one up quickly for 2 more.
And that was a great find by Devin Workman. Was able to penetrate through the defense. Brody Dalton sitting on that right block, and Workman fed him beautifully for that layup.
Gator trying to make something happen. Reese Carden saved the loose ball over on the far side. Braxton Dolan just outside the arc in the wing to the near side. Now they get it back to Landon Stone. Stone trying to make something happen. Over to Carden. He'll fire off a three, and it will go.
And there's that outside shooting that we saw in the first game with the Skyhawks, again hitting 7 3-pointers, and Chapmanville not closing out right now, and good looks from the Skyhawks, and they made Chapmanville pay on the last 2 possessions.
And we have a timeout on the floor, 5:12 to go. We'll just keep it here. Score, Scott 9, Chapmanville 7. And like I said, that's what Coach Sean Ballard prides his Skyhawks on, is getting the ball down the floor and make something happen quick.
And I love the ball movement right now from the Skyhawks and Chapmanville thus far in this game. Again, you're seeing some young groups starting to gel a little bit more as this season's moving along. And right there, again, just the extra pass, finding Carden in the left corner. On the other end, Devin Workman, instead of forcing up a difficult layup, waiting for the defender to clear, finding Brody Dalton on the other side. So you're seeing a lot of young talent on both sides starting to figure out where the open men are, where the offense is set, and how it's run. And I really like the way both teams have opened up this game.
5:12 showing on the first quarter clock. Skyhawks up by 2. Tigers will inbound it, go the full length of the floor. Now they get it into Workman. Over to Smith. Back to Workman. They're still behind the timeline. Over to Smith. They get it across. Long three-point shot from the far side of the floor by Dalton. It will not go. Gator with the rebound. He comes down. He'll go one-on-one. He'll come to the near wing and set it up. Kevin White thought about taking a three. Now they go back to Carden. Carden dribbles out to the top of the key, over to White. White's trying to make a hole. He gets in about a 8-foot jumper. It bounces around, will not go. And White will come down with the rebound and a whistle.
And that's going to be Colton Craddock. That's going to be number 2 on him real quick in this game. So let's see who Brad Napper elects to go to off the bench. And again, he just didn't have his balance there and just ran right over top of White.
Stone inbounds it to Dolan. Dolan back to Carden. Carden would like to take a three, but Colton's in his face. Backs it out to between the circles, over to Carden. Landon Stone now has it back to the near wing with Jaron Gator. He's dribbling, finds Carden over on the far side. Now they get it to Gator. Gator has to back out as Colton Craddock's in his face. Dolan has it. They shut the door as he tries to make something happen in the paint. Skyhawks still moving the ball around the outside of the arc. Far side on the floor, it'll be Carden. Dribbles the ball back out to near midcourt. Now they get it to Kevin White. Bounce pass to Dolan. Dolan finds a little opening, and it's blocked by Blevins, and the Tigers will come up on the turnover.
And that time they just funneled him right into Zion Blevins for that defensive block, much like they did with Obina in the days.
Smith, a long three, will not go. Rebound. Dalton puts one off the glass, it will not go. Gets his own rebound. And he goes for the third, and he's actually, the handoff goes to Blevin, and he tries to put it up. There's a whistle and a foul on Scott. Jaron Gator will be charged with the personal. That'll be Scott's first personal.
So that'll send Blevins to the free throw line here. As we said, he's got a good touch. He's had 10 points on a couple of occasions this year against Mingo Central and Polka, and he's been fairly solid from the free throw line.
Blevins' first shot is up, and it's good. He'll pull the Tigers within 1. 3:39 to go in the first. Skyhawks up 9-8. Blevins at the charity stripe will go for the second shot. He could tie it up. Takes a couple dribbles. Release, and we're all tied up at 9.
That's it. Saying someone's fairly solid from the line, that's about as wishy-washy as it gets, isn't it?
Bounce pass over to Stone. Isaac Setzer into the lineup. He has the ball for the Skyhawks. Bounce pass to Jay Sharps. He'll fire off a three off the side of the rim, and it will be Dalton coming down with the rebound for the Tigers. Down the floor goes Devin Workman into the corner to Smith. They'll bring it back in at the free throw line. Bounce on the floor, blocked by Setzer as Blevins went to the rim. And it'll be Chapmanville ball under their own basket.
That was a good block by Setzer that time, and that's where Blevins will learn to keep that ball higher and go up stronger in the future. That time just allowed Setzer to come over and take it away from him.
Hunter Jeffrey into the lineup for the Tigers. They send it out to him. Now they get it into Blevins. A little short jumper. It will not go. Jeffrey in there pulled down the rebound. Couldn't get the second shot off. Here come the Skyhawks with the ball quickly down the floor. Setzer has it. sets it up quickly. Kevin White a long three, it will not go. Off the rim, Setzer gets the rebound. His shot will not go. Rebound Dalton for Chapmanville.
I'll tell you what, Scott's getting on the offensive boards very effectively here in the first quarter despite the size disadvantage.
Dalton comes down. He tries to make something happen. He a little quick pass to Blevins. Blevins a short jumper, and he'll pick up 2.
And that's what Chapmanville's got to do on the other end. Tack down low with Blevins and Dalton with that couple inches they've got on the interior.
Kevin White will send it back out to reset the play. They get it into Jay Sharps all the way back out to Setzer. Now they pump it over to Kevin White in the wing near 3, and it goes. Kevin White drops his second 3 of the ball game.
And he's got such a smooth stroke, does the junior, and that's his second 3, as you mentioned. 7 points now. Chapmanville lost him on that switch.
Zion Blevins has it, kicks it back out to Dalton, back out to Workman, and they lose it to Smith. Dalton will take the jumper, and they'll go for about an 8-foot jumper.
And he's got that mid-range game. He can make you pay from about 12, 15 feet out.
Tigers up by 1, 13-12. Carden took a long 3 off the rim. Rebound Tigers, and they're back across the timeline quickly. Over to Dalton in the far wing. Now they set it back to Workman. He's about midway between the circles. Takes a couple dribbles, sends it over to the near side to Smith. They get it into Hunter Jeffrey. He's trying to make something happen. The ball's knocked out of his hands. He's still trying to fight in there under the basket. Now they kick it back out to Dalton. Long 3 by Workman. Jeffrey, once again, tries to get a shot off, and we have a whistle this time.
Yeah, I believe out of bounds.
Just out of bounds.
Scott.
Jay Sharps blocking the pass as he tries to kind of just launch it over his head.
And again, Hunter Jeffrey with that right knee injury has been affecting him. But I tell you what, this kid gets in there and battles every game with the minutes he's got. And even with the inability to move as much as he'd like to, he's able to get it up and get offensive rebounds still.
Dolan intercepts the pass for Scott. They get it down the floor. Jay Sharps quickly, and it's intercepted under the basket by Zion Blevins. Now the Tigers bringing the ball back down the floor on the turnover. Workman drives into the paint. Jeffrey takes about a 12-footer, and he'll score his first points of the ball game.
And that's something he's developed over the last year or so, is that little mid-range game of his own.
Skyhawks quickly down the floor, sets her with it out near midcourt. He's trying to make something happen. He puts the shot up, it will not go. He actually ran into Jeffrey, no whistle. But the Tigers come down with the rebound.
Yeah, again, there was contact there, but nothing called. And now Workman trying to get away from the defenders. He hits the deck.
We have a whistle. It looks like we have a tie up on the floor. Yeah, this game is unlike the one you watched last night for sure. They're letting these guys play.
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of fouls last night. I think over 30 in the second half alone with Mann and Logan. So yeah, it's nice seeing that the pace is kind of moving right now.
Smith inbounds it to Jeffrey. Now Smith will take it, a jumper at the charity stripe, and he'll come up with his first basket of the ball game. Tigers up by 5. Jay Sharps has the ball for Scott in the corner. And a steal by Brody Dalton. He's going to go all the way, and he puts it off the glass and drains it at his 4th basket of the ball game. A whistle, and that foul will be charged against Isaac Setzer. That'll be his first, second for Scott.
Yeah, again,
and I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say Setzer contested well that time. As you see on Video Productions, our Thornhill Automotive Instant Replay. Again, it was 3-on-1 for Chapmanville. Setzer contested well, but Dalton was just able to hide the ball long enough to get it on that right side and able to get the lay-in and the and-one on the free throw. He's got 9 now in the first quarter.
Tigers take a 20-12 lead here as we near the end of the first quarter of play. Skyhawks trying to make something happen. Landon Stone spins 360, and looked like it was touched by Blevins, and the Tigers come up with the ball, and they bring the ball back down the floor. Workman over to Dalton. He took about a sidestepper, and the ball will not go at the buzzer. We're at the end of the first quarter of play. The score, the Chapmanville Tigers 20, the Scott Skyhawks 12. We'll take a 1-minute break and be back with the second quarter of action. This is high school basketball on WVOW, WZAC, Video Productions, and the Skyhawk Sports Network.
Is Boone Memorial Hospital. Compassionate, personal, quality care that's close to home with caring, skilled physicians and large private inpatient rooms.
Boone Memorial Hospital, bringing medicine home.
The road to total savings starts here, Thornhill GM Superstore. Find new roads to 119 in Chapmanville, your hometown full-service Buick, Chevy, GMC dealer. We are professional grade and community strong. Expect the best and save thousands with Thornhill.
61 to place your order. Pizzas are available after 4 p.m. daily and closed on Sundays. Pizza now available at Cabo's Ice Cream and Deli in Danville.
WZAC-FM, Danville, Madison.
After one quarter of play, Chapmanville leads the Scott Skyhawks by a score of 20-12. Possession arrow goes to Scott. They will inbound it. Jaron Gator goes one-on-one with Isaiah Fleming, and Fleming stuck right with him. Setzer with the ball at the top of the key. Now they gets tangled up. The ball's loose. Chapmanville comes up with the turnover. Here comes Devin Workman with the ball down the floor across the timeline. The pass ended up in the hands of Brody Dalton down in the far corner. Now they send it back out to reset things. Here goes a three-point attempt by Devin Workman. It'll not go. And the rebound, Kevin White. He'll shoot it down to Setzer. Now they get it over the corner to Carden. Carden's three will be off the front of the iron. Rebound, Fleming. Here comes the Tigers. Down to Dalton. He'll go one easy off the glass. It will not go too much, but a whistle. And he'll go to the charity stripe.
Again, good hustle getting back that time by Setzer. Commits the foul. That's going to be number 2 on him. Dalton looked like he landed a little awkwardly, but appears to be okay. He might have got scratched a little on his arm as he's checking that out right now. But again, the defense really starting to pick up for the Chapmanville Tigers. They're starting to swarm and bring in double teams and traps, and Scott's having a hard time trying to find the open man outside out of these traps that Chapmanville's springing as Dalton's now into double figures.
Yeah, he picks up his 10th point of the ball game, scoring 9 of those in the first quarter. Tigers up 21-12, 7:20 to go here in the first half. Dalton's second shot is up, and it will be off the back of the iron. Rebound, Landon Stone for Scott. Here come the Skyhawks across the timeline. Stone still has it. He gets it over to Gator. Braxton Dolan driving in, kicks it over to Stone. Stone with about a 12-foot jumper. It'll go for 2.
That's much needed right there for the Skyhawks. And again, Stone, he's got some moves on him. He was able to spin into the lane a moment ago, get off a nice shot just short, and that time another nice spin move to create some space to get off that 10-footer.
Workman tried to make something happen, and a whistle on the floor, and I believe they're going to get Workman on a charge.
Yeah, that time he came right inside, and nice job holding his ground that time. I think it was Stone in order to draw that charge. And now Scott trying to build a little momentum back here. Again, Chapmanville looked like they were starting to run out, get this into double digits. Now a chance for the Skyhawks to get this back to 2 possessions.
Jaron Gator with the ball. Bounce passes into Kevin White. Back out to Gator. Gator fires a 3. Off the side of the iron. It will not go. Rebound, Scott. Braxton Dolan loses the handle. It's out of bounds on Fleming for Chapmanville. Scott will retain control of the ball.
And again, Isaiah Fleming into the game. He's a real spark plug off the bench. He had 25 against Mingo Central and had 8 3-pointers in that game. Just absolutely got white hot in that half. So he's another one that can score but also plays tenacious defense.
They kick it out to Kevin White. He's trying to make something happen, bouncing off Workman. Carden has it at the top of the key, back to Gator. Gator goes into the paint, kicks it back out to White. White's long 3-point shot off the side of the iron. Rebound, Brody Dalton. Here come the Tigers. And a tie-up. Kevin White come in there as Dalton turned around and grabbed the ball, tied it up. Possession there will stay with Chapmanville.
Yeah, that was a good job by Scott, because I tell you what, Fleming was all the way down on the other end, waving his hands for an open layup, and Scott did a great job attacking the ball and getting that tie-up to prevent that easy two.
Dalton brings it across the Workman brings it across the timeline off the glass, and we have a charge. That's going to go against Chapmanville's Trey Butcher.
Yeah, Butcher came in a little out of control that time, did the 6'2 sophomore, and a nice job again of Scott recognizing that. And again, that's where you'll see a more experienced player stop, try and take maybe that little 8-foot banker and put it in. Again, some of the younger players sometimes still want to barrel into the lane and create that contact, but right there, that's where you just got to learn to kind of stop, pop, get that little jumper off, try and kiss it off the glass and prevent that charge call.
Brad Napper puts Hunter Jeffrey, 6'4", junior, back into his lineup. Skyhawks now trying to set up, make something go. They fire it, over the head of Kevin White. He was open on the left wing right on the arc line, but it was over his head out of bounds. It'll be Chapmanville basketball.
Yeah, and that's the right idea by Dolan. He did a nice job of recognizing where White was. Again, the pass just got a little away from him and airmailed out of bounds. It's going to be a tough window to fit it in, but the pass was there had they been able to make it.
Workman brings the ball down the floor. They tried to kick it over to Jeffrey, who was open, and the ball's loose. Dalton has it. And now the official said Dalton traveled while he was on the floor. He couldn't couldn't find a player to unload it to, so the turnover will go to Scott.
And that all started with Braxton Dolan in his hands in the passing lane that time. Again, was able to see where he was going, saw Hunter Jeffrey on the weak side, ready to receive that pass. Kind of the play Chapmanville ran earlier for an easy two, so nice job noticing there by Dolan.
Tigers leading by 7. Kevin White from the corner, and he drills it, drops it for 3 more.
And that is now 3 3-pointers for White in this game. He's into double figures, and just like that, Scott back with him 4.
21-17. Tigers lead it, 5:16 to go in the first half. Tigers trying to set something up, make something happen. Workman with the ball on the far wing. They get it to Jeffrey down in the corner. Jeffrey trying to make something happen. He bounces, and we have a push foul, looks like against Scott's Braxton Dolan.
Yeah, he and Stone were both in the area, but they're going to get Dolan on it instead. So that'll be his first. And both teams now at 4 team fouls, 5:05 to go here in the first half. So both still a few more to give before the penalty. But again, well played here thus far. And now Scott on a bit of a run. Can Chapmanville stymie that?
Workman inbounds it to Dalton. Dalton's he's all over the floor tonight. He's just really hustling out there. Dalton in some trouble, gets it around one of the Scott players to Jeffrey. Jeffrey back to Workman. Now they shoot it over to Smith. Back out to Workman at the top of the key. Dalton now has it at the wing on the near side. Back to Workman. He tries to make something happen, and he stepped on the out-of-bounds line, and the turnover will go to the Skyhawks.
I tell you what, the Skyhawk defense has really picked up its intensity in the last 2-3 minutes here as they force several turnovers in a row now on the Chapmanville Tigers and really not allowing Chapmanville to get anything on the interior, and they're doing a nice job getting out and contesting as Chapmanville still developing their outside game, but they're doing a nice job of bottling up Smith, who's the big threat.
Reach-in foul will be charged against Chapmanville's Isaiah Smith. That'll be his first personal. Now the Tigers have 5, and Scott will inbound it at the end of the Tiger bench.
And again, that corner 3 where White has been effective, that's where Chapmanville's got to be able to find him on these possessions.
Stone shoots it to Carden in the backcourt. Then they bring it over to Stone, back to Carden. Now they highball it over to Stone. Stone looking to make something happen. Double team. Now he kicks it over to Carden on the far side. Bounce pass into Workman. Almost stolen by Hunter Jeffrey. Quickly, Gator. And a shot by Stone from the corner will not go. And a tie-up between Jay Sharps and Zion Blevins. And a possession error will go to the Skyhawks.
I tell you what, the ball movement there by the Skyhawks was incredible. 6-7 passes right there in a row. Just had Chapmanville running all over the place to try and catch up. Stone got a good look, just missed it, but a nice job on the tie-up to save the possession.
Official timeout on the floor. And now the official gives a thumbs up, ready to go. Stone will inbound it for the Skyhawks. Bounce pass to Carden. He gets a quick shot, and he'll drop one for 3. His second three-pointer of the ball game. Tigers quickly come down the floor. Workman with it, trying to find Dalton. Now he gets it down to Smith. Smith will bounce it off the glass for a quick 2.
And that was a nice take by Smith, getting across the timeline, attacking the rim quick. That ends an 8-0 run by Scott.
Carden and Stone bring the ball down the floor. Now Carden has it on the far side, brings it over to the near side, into the wing, into the paint. Now he'll kick it back out to Carden. He'll fire off another 3. In and out, it will not go. And it is going to be Skyhawk basketball. Rebound, Jay Sharps into Braxton Dolan. Dolan off the glass for 2.
And right now, Scott just out hustling the Tigers to all these loose balls, creating second chance opportunities.
Brody Dalton has it. Tried to make something happen in the air. He couldn't get it off. Scott comes up with the ball. Jay Sharps bounce pass to Kevin White. And he tried to bounce it off. Devin Workman, and the ball took off down the floor, and Devin just took off trying to save it, but it's out of bounds on Tigers, and Scott will inbound it under their own basket. Wow, that was crazy.
He just threw that right off the chest of Devin Workman. Didn't look like he got enough of it, and Workman nearly chased it down, went sliding out of bounds after.
Looked like a bowling ball going down the floor. Inbound, Kevin White. Reese Carden fires off another 3. Off the front of the rim, will not go. Rebound, Chapmanville's Trey Butcher.
That was a great job contesting by Isaiah Smith there as well to help get that rebound.
Scott defense steals the ball, comes up. It's Landon Stone from behind Workman, and reach around by Workman, and he catches. I don't think there's a foul was called, but he caught, it looked like maybe his finger just hit the corner of Stone. The Stone seems to be okay now.
Yeah, again, the strip looked clean, but he may have followed through and caught him on the way up there in the eye, but thankfully he looks all right.
Jay Sharps has it. Now they kick it out to Kevin White at the top of the key. Back to Sharps. Round to Reese Carden. They're doing a little bit of round, I call it the Harlem Globetrotter warm-up around the arc. Now Carden gets into the paint, a little short off the rim. What a jump by Kevin White. He tries to get in there, and a whistle. Kevin White, probably one of the shorter guys on the team, 5'11", come in there. Now they're going to call White with a charge.
Yeah, again, I guess he extended the forearm there. It was out of our periphery.
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
But yeah, I said he must have extended that forearm in order to get a little bit of an open space on Dalton.
Tigers inbound it. Skyhawks put four-court pressure, and it's going to be a one-on-one situation, actually 2-on-2, and it's going to be the in and out for Trey Butcher. Skyhawks get the rebound. Isaac Setzer has it. Kevin White over to Jay Sharps. Sharps wide open, overshoots the basket, rebound, and it's stripped by White, and Landon Stone rather, and he'll put a quick 2 on the glass. Skyhawks now lead by 1. Quickly, the Tigers bring the ball down the floor. Isaiah Smith trying to make something happen. Now they get it to Workman at the top of the key. He'll take a jumper at the free throw line, and it'll go.
I tell you what, Scott's just all over the place attacking the ball right now. Even when Chapmanville secures a rebound, there's a Scott Skyhawk ready to attack.
Now this time the Skyhawks lose the ball. Here comes Dalton with the ball off the glass, and another quick 2 for the Tigers.
I tell you, one team gets on a run, then the other turns around and gives it right back.
Kevin White tried to shoot one, and it was deflected. He overshot the basket. Rebound by Trey Butcher. Here come the Tigers. Workman has it at the near wing. Over to Butcher, back to Workman. They shoot it across the floor to Smith. He'll take a long 3. In and out, will not go. Rebound, Isaac Setzer for Scott. Skyhawks coming back across the timeline. 1:16 to go in the half. Tigers up by 3, 27-24. Reese Carden trying to think about what he wants to do to get these Skyhawks set up. He has the ball. He goes one-on-one with Dalton over on the far side. Now they get it out to Setzer. Back to Carden. Stone takes it. He tries to dribble into the paint. He will go off the glass. The ball will not go. Rebound Chapmanville. Here come the Tigers. Brody Dalton has the ball. Slows the pace of the ball down, and Coach Brad Napper wants to take a timeout. Think things over with 48 seconds to go in the half.
Well, just a reminder, everyone, this game brought to you in part by Nationwide Insurance Agent Greg Dalton here on WVOW, who is a proud supporter of Chapmanville Regional Athletics and the community of Logan County. For auto, home, life, and business insurance, call the Greg Dalton Agency at 304-855-4906. Greg Dalton Insurance with offices on Main Street in Chapmanville and Main Street in Logan. For all your sides, there is Nationwide. This is WVOW Logan.
WZAC Danville, Madison.
And video productions.
And Skyhawk Sports Network.
And ChapmanvilleTigers.tv. Anything else we're not on tonight?
I don't know if there is or not.
Everybody's like, geez, we got this much of you guys? That's way too much of us.
48 seconds to go in the second period. Chapmanville has pulled back out to a 3-point lead, 27-24. It's been a back-and-forth battle between these two, and you can definitely call them arch rivals, as they're separated by about 12 miles of asphalt along Corridor G. Both teams are back on the floor. It will be Chapmanville basketball. Zion Blevins will inbound it on the far side at midcourt. He'll inbound it to Devin Workman, 5'9" sophomore. He'll bring it across the timeline. Bounce past to Hunter Jeffrey, back out to Workman, back to Jeffrey. Jeffrey tries to bounce past it. They get it off. Back to Brody Dalton. He's going to try to make something happen. Now they kick it back out to Workman. Dalton, he'll take a three-point shot, a whistle, a travel, turnover to the Skyhawks.
Yeah, again, you could tell Chapmanville was trying to set it up to see if they could go for one. A good adjustment by Sean Ballard coming out and applying the pressure, not just allowing Chapmanville to run out the rest of this half, and it ends up forcing Chapmanville into another turnover.
Scott will check into the lineup for the Skyhawks. Kyler Workman, a 6'3" freshman. Landon Stone also checks back into the Scott lineup. Scott will inbound the ball in front of the Chapmanville cheering section on the far end across from the charity stripe. Jaron Gator has the ball for Scott. They'll inbound it across the timeline to Stone. Stone loses the handle. The Tigers pick it up. Here they come quickly down the floor. Isaiah Smith off the glass and a quick 2 points for the Tigers.
A good job attacking there quickly in transition for Chapmanville. Scott, though, still with 10 seconds.
8 seconds on the clock. Kevin White bounce passes a Gator. He'll fire off one. Off the back of the rim, it'll not go. Hunter Jeffrey with the rebound, and he'll just hang on to the ball, and that'll be the end of the first half of play. And we have seen an exciting high school basketball between the Scott Scouts and the Chapmanville Regional Tigers. Tigers will go into the locker room with a 5-point lead, 29-24. We'll step aside for a 2-minute break, and you're listening to high school basketball on WVOW, WZAC, Video Productions, and the Skyhawks Sports Network.
Southern West Virginia Community and Technical College offers more than 50.
Our world has changed a lot in a short time, but your health and safety remains our #1 priority. We have the supplies needed and processes in place to keep you safe. We've implemented visitor restrictions, and we are reducing physical contact as much as possible. Patients and employees are required to wear masks for your protection and theirs, and your care team is screened daily. So don't wait to get the care that you need. Logan Regional Medical Center, always here for you.
Peyton, what are we doing here?
Welcome to Peytonville. Nationwide helps protect everything you see in here, Brad. Every family, every business, even Mrs. Hoffman's dream of retiring to become a yoga instructor.
Oh, they have backstories.
Here, I got more to show you.
Evans Funeral Home and Cremation Services, founded in 1975 by Riley Joe Evans, is a full-service funeral provider, and 2020 makes it 45 years of offering services that respect all faiths, personal preferences, and financial considerations. They're the only funeral home in Boone, Lincoln, and Logan with its own crematory. Contact Evans Funeral Home and Cremation Services at 304-855-3232 or visit www.evans-funeral-home.com or like Evans Funeral Home and Cremation Services on Facebook to see their updated obituary information.
Medical continue to focus on medical wellness, prevention, and provide high-quality medical treatment to their patients. As your state senator, Dr. Stallings stands with the coal industry and works hard on legislation that will enhance economic development. As a proud West Virginia Mountaineer, Dr. Ron Stallings wishes all area teams a very successful season.
WZAC-FM, Danville, Madison.
Back in Danny Godby Gymnasium at Chapmanville Regional High School, the Tigers lead the Scott Scouts by a score of 29-24 at the half. And Chris, fans should not have been disappointed because that was an exciting, fast-paced first half of basketball between these two teams.
Yeah, that's what you expect whenever you run into these two clubs typically. Again, they're young. They're wanting to get out and gun with each other. Again, tough defense on both sides. Saw a lot of turnovers forced on both ends, but it really wasn't bad offense. I said it was just better defense on those sides, but I really like the ball movement on both ends, especially on Scott being able to free up some of these three-pointers and getting some good looks. Just haven't been able to knock down a few. Chapmanville's done a nice job of responding on the other end whenever Scott went on those runs, and they've done a better job of getting out in transition late in the second quarter to create some easy opportunities for Smith as well as Dalton. So they know that Scott is going to be over-aggressive on the defensive end, and now Chapmanville, you can see them starting to try and leak out one player here, one player there, see if they can create that easy situation to get the quick two on this Scott defense. But I tell you what, Scott's defense has done a better job of being able to create more opportunities for themselves than Chapmanville's been able to exploit that thus far, but we have seen some openings for Chapmanville here as of late.
Yeah, the Tigers jumped out to a 20-12 lead after the first quarter, and Scott got things rolling as they outscored the Tigers in the second quarter. The key to that was, I believe, Kevin White. He has 3 threes and a free throw. He started off for Scott with that 4-point play and kind of got the spark going for them. He leads Scott with 10 points. Reese Carden has 2 threes for 6. Landon Stone has 2 baskets for 4. Braxton Dolan has a couple for 4, and that's Scott's scoring
On the other end for Chapmanville, they're leading all scorers right now is Brody Dalton with 12 points, followed by Isaiah Smith with 6 points. Then you have Devin Workman with 5 points, Zion Blevins with 4 points, and Hunter Jeffrey rounding out the scoring for the Tigers with 2 points on the evening.
You know, defensively, you look at the fouls. Neither team really in any type of foul trouble at this time. For Scott, Setzer picked up a couple quick ones there in the second quarter, and he is the only one. The others all have one. And for Chapmanville, Colton Craddock got a couple there quick, and he kind of settled down, and then their other players only have one that's even committed a foul. So neither team in foul trouble at this point.
Yeah, and that's going to be big going into the second half. Again, as we mentioned last night in the game with Logan and Mannigan, foul trouble became of monumental importance in that contest and really hampered the way that Man could play defense once they had several that got into 3 and 4 fouls. So thankfully we don't have that thus far tonight against Setzer. As you mentioned, had 2. Colton Craddock has 2. Other than that, clean game on both ends, and both sides going to be ready to go in the second half. So, again, it'll be interesting to see if Scott's pressure will be able to amplify a little bit more here in the third quarter to still create some of these turnovers or second chances for Chapmanville. On the other end, though, if Chapmanville's able to control the ball, limit these second chance opportunities that Scott's been getting, and be able to leak out and get some men on the break, I said they could end up extending this lead pretty quickly in the third quarter.
You know, I saw Scott try to hurry up the offense a couple of times. They need to settle it down just a little bit. Like I said, they're a fast-paced team. They want to make things happen quick. But sometimes when you got those big guys, when you got Hunter Jeffrey or Zion Blevins under the basket, you're just going to have to settle down, work the ball around, and take the open shot.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think we've seen even on Chapmanville's side this year. There's been times we look down and Brad Naffer's been looking at his players just basically mimicking shoot it, you know, because they're used to sharing the ball or giving it off to somebody else. And there's been times where they haven't been as selfish as maybe they needed to be on the offensive side. But that's why I like seeing Devin Workman take more of his shots. Again, the kid's got a good shot. He's knocked down a couple of those tonight. Keep that going. Same whenever you get Zion Blevins on the low block. Don't be afraid to shoot. So, again, it couldn't all be Smith and Dalton, and I think Chapmanville knew that early on in the year. So I think they're very enthusiastic going forward that some of their third, fourth, fifth scorers are starting to pick it up and add 6-8 points a game. That'll be big going forward.
You know, you look at the scoring for Scott. Reese Carden with 6. He's right on track there for his about 14, 15 points average per game. But I tell you what, Kevin White has been the one that's been hot from three-point land for Scott with those 3 threes. And then, like I said, Carden's even dropped in a couple threes. So Scott's going to have to continue to work on offense. We'll go ahead and take our final break, and we'll be back with the second half of action after this. This is high school basketball on WVOW, WZAC, Video Productions, and the Skyhawks Sports Network.
Serving the region for 70 years, the Farrell & Hill Insurance Agency can give you the peace.
Funeral Home and Cremation Services, founded in 1975 by Riley Joe Evans, is a full-service funeral provider, and 2020 makes it 45 years of offering services that respect all faiths, personal preferences, and financial considerations. They're the only funeral home in Boone, Lincoln, and Logan with its own crematory. Contact Evans Funeral Home and Cremation Services at 304-855-3232 or visit www.evans-funeral-home.com or like Evans Funeral Home and Cremation Services on Facebook to see their updated obituary information.
You can breathe easier at Boone Memorial Hospital, now with pulmonologist Dr. Richard McNeely. Come see us if you have concerns about your breathing issues.
Boone Memorial Hospital, bringing medicine home.
With all that's going on, Mullen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling wants to remind our neighbors we're here for you. We're taking extra precautions to protect you and our employees. Right now, we're offering 6-month no-interest financing to help you stay comfortable throughout this crisis. Our superior indoor air filtration options will keep viruses, bacteria, and allergens down, increasing indoor air quality, comfort, and safety. Call us today and see how we can help you. Mullen, we're comfortable when you are.
Peyton, what are we doing here?
Welcome to Peytonville. Nationwide helps protect everything you see in here, Brad. Every family, every business, even Mrs. Hoffman's dream of retiring to become a yoga instructor.
Oh, they have backstories.
Here, I got more to show you.
This is Boone Memorial Hospital, compassionate personal quality care that's close to home, with caring skilled physicians and large private inpatient rooms.
Boone Memorial Hospital, bringing
Welcome back, everybody, here to Danny Gobby Gymnasium. Chris Kidd and Joe Linville here with you. Garrett Lester, our engineer, on video productions as well. It's time now for our Logan Regional Medical Center keys to the game. And Joe, what do you see as the key to the second half for for Chapmanville and Scott? I've had Logan on the mind the last week or two.
I don't know why. Anyway, for the Skyhawks, like I said, during the halftime break, they're going to have to settle things down, work that ball around, and take the open shots. They're going to have to try to stay away from Blevins and Jeffrey under the basket. For the Tigers, keep up what they're doing. I mean, they look good. They going to have to do a little bit better ball control and not make those silly mistakes and turn those unwanted turnovers over to the Skyhawks.
And those are your Logan Regional Medical Center keys to the second half. And the key to your health care is with Logan Regional Medical Center, always here for you.
And now here for the play-by-play of the second half of action, WVOW's Chris Kidd.
Thank you, Joe. Again, sharing duties here tonight. That way all of the Madison Scott fans can enjoy their local guy, and hopefully the WVOW people are like, oh, here's our local guy. So here we go, starting the second half. Again, Chapmanville going right to left across your computer screen and radio dial. Again, leading by 5 out of the gate. Scott going left to right as Workman takes it in on the right baseline, dumps it off to Blevins, gets a short jumper off, and Blevins has his 6-point now to start the second half.
Good open look here in the paint for a quick 2.
As White gets it up top for Gator. Now over to Carden. Again, 5 3-pointers between Carden and White in the first half. That'll be a big part of the defensive philosophy for Chapmanville in the second half. As Stone cut off in the left corner, kicks it out for Gator, being guarded by Workman, spins inside nicely. He got it poked away by Blevins, and now here comes Chapmanville on a run out. Smith, 3-on-1, dishes back to Blevins on the right side, and he'll lay it in.
Quickly, Blevins was right there off the glass. He has 4 points already here in the third quarter, only 45 seconds in.
Dolan penetrates in, kicks it out. Open 3, and there's White once again able to make Chapmanville pay as he's got 4 threes now for the game.
33-27, 7 minutes to go in the quarter. Both teams are already firing away.
Yeah, again, quick start on both ends here. 4 for Chapmanville, 3 for Scott as Dalton dribbles to his right, comes back out. Gator cuts him off. Now to Workman on the right wing. Workman picked up by Dolan as the Scott cheering section trying to get their defense going here. It's Blevins, who's had 4 points thus far this quarter, has 8 for the game, dribbles in, kicks it out. Workman open 3 from the wing, no good off the back iron. Stone and Craddock fighting for the rebound, and they're going to say off the knee of Craddock, out of bounds.
I don't know if I agree with that one or not, but the official was down there. So
yeah, that was close.
It'll be Scott basketball.
Yeah, but really no argument from Craddock on that. So
must have been a good right call.
And again, Joe and I's eyes maybe weren't what they used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Dolan, top of the key, gives it over to Carden on the left wing, and 6-point lead for Chapmanville. 6:20 to go in the third quarter. Gator stumbles a little, but able to get rid of it to Dolan. Dolan dribbling around at the free throw line. Pass gets away. That's going to go into the backcourt. Was it deflected? No, they say it wasn't. And it'll go over to Chapmanville.
I think he thought Gator was going to step back out toward midcourt, and he didn't. He went the other direction, and Dolan had already committed to throw the ball.
Well, I tell you what, Joe, our eyes are not that old. Again, you look at the replay here. Yeah, this, again, you see Craddock hit it, but it went off the leg of Stone out of bounds. So I don't think Craddock even saw it himself. So, again, tough call, though, because no official was underneath the basket that time. As Workman dribbles in underneath, trying to find the help as he gets it to Craddock. Now out to Smith. Again, 33-27 Chapmanville. Smith, nice dish off to Craddock. Gets some space underneath, and he'll go up strong, Will the junior, and lay it in for his first 2.
Yeah, that'll be his first points of the ball game for the Tigers and Colton Craddock.
35-27 Chapmanville with 5:40 to go in the third quarter. As Stone gets it up top for Dolan. Dolan drives in right side, steps back, gets one off over top of Blevins, and gets the friendly roll.
It rolls in, rolls out, finally goes in for 2.
Ooh, that thing took a trip around the world, and it finally found its way down. So 35-29 now in favor of the Tigers as Dalton dribbles into the right corner. Had it almost poked away, now loses it, and out of bounds, last touch by Brody Dalton.
He tried to make a cut back toward the paint, and the ball wasn't in the right place to keep his fingers on it. He lost control. Skyhawks inbound. It will go the length of the floor.
Again, trying to cut into this 6-point Chapmanville lead. Chapmanville's led the majority of the evening. A brief lead for Scott in the first half. But other than that, the Tigers have held on to this lead since jumping out 5-0. As they get it into the right wing, driving in a Stone, back out. Carden, pump fakes, dribbles in, short jumper up. This time won't get the roll. Ball knocked loose. Gator able to retrieve it for the Skyhawks as he gets it back up top. Now Stone penetrates in, steps back, mid-range jumper will fall for Landon Stone.
It'll be his third basket of the ball game now. Skyhawks come out in a full court press.
And again, Stone had 13 in that first game against Chapmanville, 6 tonight as Chapmanville breaks the pressure over to Blevins, and Zion Blevins gets free on the right side for another layup. He's got 10 now.
He's got 6 already here in the third.
And again, running his lane and getting into open space. He's getting paid off right now on the offensive side. 37-31 Chapmanville, nearing midway through the third quarter at the moment.
37-31 Tigers.
Gator drives in on the right side, stumbles, but gets his footing back. Now back up top for Carden. Carden to Stone, top of the key. Workman gets out on him. Stone will penetrate in, spin move, cut off by Workman. Takes the tough jumper, and Landon Stone able to hit again.
That'll be 4 for Stone here in the third. Full court pressure being showed, and it's going to pay off for the Skyhawks. Here goes Braxton Dolan.
Oh, and he buried it into the side of the backboard. Again, between the rim, it just got stuck. That was a great steal by Gator, and then Stone went up, and I don't know if it got blocked into it or if he just kind of threw it into it.
Well, he was fouled. Devin Workman was charged on the foul for Chapmanville.
Okay, so there had to have been.
But he laid it right in between that wedge between the backboard and the rim.
I think we saw that in the ball game the other night in one of the Elite Eight games. His first free throw off the mark. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I was like, well, no worries, buddy. I do it too. It's just normally in an empty gym, not in front of millions of people.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, for real. Shoot, it's an improvement whenever I hit the rim anymore. Second free throw good for Dolan. He's now got 7 points on the evening. He had 4 in the first matchup against Chapmanville and had a season high of 12 against Point Pleasant, one of 2 of Scott's wins, other being against Ripley.
Hunter Jeffrey checks back into the Chapmanville lineup.
37-34 Chapmanville, 3:50 remaining in the third quarter. It's double team in the backcourt. Workman to Craddock. Dangerous pass and stolen away by White. White, he's going to go for the tie. We're all square.
Kevin White, a beautiful three-point jumper, and ties this one up at 37. Full court press being showed by the Skyhawks.
A triple team in the backcourt. White, Workman hits the deck, but able to get rid of it to Craddock. Now up ahead to Jeffrey. And Chapmanville had numbers but couldn't find an opening. Now to Smith in the middle. Dumps it off left side for Blevins. Goes up, can't finish. Gets his own rebound back. Goes up again, can't finish. And rebounded by Gator. Gator has his pocket picked in the backcourt by Blevins. Gets it back, however, now up ahead. They're able to break the press over to Carden. He'll drive in left side. Trying to give Scott the lead back, but he has it stolen by Craddock. He tried to go behind his back. Has it stolen back by Scott. Gator goes for the lead. No good from 3 and rebounded by Workman. What a frantic sequence that was, and now looks like you got White who got hit in the throat by accident. As we take a look on our Logan Regional Medical Center instant replay on video production, see if we can catch what happened here. But here's the 3 from White that tied the ball game up a moment ago.
Yeah, they got wild there for a second. I mean, it was like a tennis match on the basketball court.
Yeah, I just spent 3 hours out there watching that a minute ago and coaching. So, again, that was definitely a wild back-and-forth sequence for both sides, just coming up with turnover after turnover. And thankfully, White, he'll check out of the game momentarily here, but hopefully he's all right. He's having such a phenomenal game now with 5 3-pointers.
Skyhawks go to a full-court defensive press.
So again, this has been effective thus far in the second half for Scott, but Chapmanville able to break it this time. Craddock in the middle, drives in hard on Setzer and gets the layup to go.
That'll be his second basket here in the third for Colton Craddock. Quickly, the Scouts back across the timeline.
And Chapmanville now looks like they've gone to a 2-3 zone. We haven't seen them go to this very often this year, but now springing a 2-3 on Scott with a 2-point lead and 2.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
The 2-3 defense was effective against Scott in that fourth quarter last week.
Now they get it over left side for Stone. Cross court, Sharp now to Gator in the corner, back up front. And Sharps looking for help, finds Gator. He'll go for 3 from the right wing. No good off the back iron. Offensive rebound by Stone, though. Dumps it off underneath the Carden. Backs in on Dalton. Got Dalton in the air, but didn't take the contact. Now gives it back over to Stone on the left side. Stone to the middle. Fadeaway jumper is short, but another offensive board for Gator. Again, the undersized Skyhawks have done a tremendous job on the offensive boards tonight. Now into the corner. Sharps goes for 3. In and out. Won't fall. And rebounded by Jeffrey.
Skyhawks unfortunately come up empty-handed on that possession.
Now Chapmanville with a tenuous 2-point lead at the moment as Jeffrey in the left corner. Dribbles in, trying to find an opening, and we get a whistle and a foul, and they're going to get this one on Jeffrey for using a forearm on a push-off. We're down to 1:37 left here in the third quarter as Dolan and White check back into the game. Gator and Setzer will go to the bench. Again, this was as large as a 9-point lead for Chapmanville in the first half, and now Scott has dwindled it to 2. Trying to see if they can tie or take the lead on this trip. It's White up top, gives it over to Sharps into the corner. Dolan had a look for a moment, but Dalton got out on him.
Dolan can hit the threes. He's just not, the confidence has not been there this season.
Now they swing it over to Stone. Cross-court pass for Sharps, drives in. Nice dish underneath the Carden, and he'll lay it in front of Craddock.
Carden's first points of the half.
And all even at 39 as pass into the middle for Craddock. Over to Smith. He gets an open 3 on the way, and Isaiah Smith so deadly whenever he gets an open look and hits his first 3 of the evening, and that'll draw a full timeout from Brad Napper. We'll take it as well with 59 seconds left in the third. Chapmanville leads by 3 as you're listening to and watching Chapmanville and Scott basketball right here on WVOW, on Madison Radio, and on Video Productions.
For over a century, the attorney.
Do you need to see a doctor fast? At Logan Regional Medical Center Primary Care Walk-In Clinic, we know your time is valuable. Our new facility is designed to provide patients with the opportunity to walk in and quickly be seen by the doctor without having to make an appointment. We are open Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 384 Airport Road in Chapmanville. For more information, please call 304-239-8090.
WZAC, Danville, Madison, West Virginia.
59.7 seconds to go here in the third quarter of play. Back and forth we've gone, and it's Chapmanville now with a 3-point edge. Chris Kidd and Joe Linville here with you. Scott will have the ball going full court here. Again, left to right across your radio dial and computer screen, with Chapmanville going right to left. Now Chapmanville going to put on some full court pressure as they get it back to Sharps. He's going to break it easily across the timeline. So go to the right corner in front of the Scott bench. Back up top for White, who's had the hot hand tonight. Now to Stone. Stone, nice penetration. Kicks it out. Dolan had a look, drives in, and runs over top of Workman, and a charge called. And like you said, right there, he had that look again, Joe, just like you mentioned, hesitant to take it.
Dolan will pick up his second personal now. Scott has 2 players with 2 fouls.
And again, no one in severe foul trouble on either side. That's 2 fouls against Chapmanville here in the half. That's the first against Scott. Chapmanville breaks the pressure. Workman up the left side, dribbles in. He's going to be double teamed. Had to lob it into Blevins, and a nice tip away there by White.
Braxton Dolan will bring the ball down the floor. Now Dalton tried to steal it, and he'll be charged with a personal.
That'll be his first and team foul number 3 with 30.4 seconds left in the third.
He was trying to make up for that strip down on the other end, and it cost him.
Yeah, again, that's one of those, you talk about compounding a problem sometimes. You know, you want to try and make up for something, and you end up making a foul on the other end or a silly turnover. Now here's Stone. He gets into the middle. No one picks him up. Misses on the 6-footer. Rebounded by Blevins. We'll get a whistle and a tie-up, and the possession will stay with Scott.
19 seconds to go in the third quarter play. Chapmanville 42, Scott 39.
Now big possession here. Again, that means Chapmanville will now get the ball to start the fourth quarter unless we have another tie-up. But can Scott make it count here as they inbound it deep to Dolan. Over to Carden. Carden dribbles in on the right side, spins back in the middle, reverse layup, can't get it to fall. Down to 11 seconds. Chapmanville has an opportunity here. Smith with 8 seconds, crosses the timeline, now into the middle. Over to Fleming, 3 from the corner, blocked on the way by Carden. A chance for a heave by Sharps as the third quarter runs out, off the backboard, no good. And that will do it for the third quarter of play as we have another tight one between these Corridor G rivals. It's 42-39 Chapmanville as we head to the final 8 minutes. Back in 60 seconds as you're listening to and watching Chapmanville and Scott basketball right here on WZAC Radio, WVOW Radio, and Video Productions.
Southern West Virginia Community and Technical College.
Regrets. If only she'd parked in a garage. If only they had the chimney cleaned. If only they had Erie Insurance. Erie is seriously good insurance that treats you fairly and goes above and beyond to make you feel like your auto or home mishap never happened. At rates that'll save you as much as the other guys. So get a quote from Erie today. Because whatever your regrets in life, your insurance company shouldn't be one of them.
Little General Stores knows West Virginia, but what some may not know is what LG is doing in your communities. And I'm here to tell you how Little General, with the strength of their 100+ stores, is helping to enrich lives and empower families in West Virginia. Like the Norma May Huggins Cancer Research Endowment Fund, which is fighting to cure cancer every day right here in West Virginia. Locally owned and operated, LG has always been there and always will be. Little General Stores, committed to West Virginians. Boom!
Quarter number 4, we head here from Danny Gobby Gymnasium as the Chapmanville Tigers clinging to a 3-point lead over the Scott Skyhawks. Chris Kidd and Joe Linville here with you tonight on WZAC Radio in Madison, WVOW in Logan, and Video Productions. As Chapmanville trying to get over 500 and sweep the season series from Scott. Skyhawks trying to break a 5-game losing streak. As Chapmanville with the ball to start the quarter. Workman, wing 3 from the right side, no good and short. Rebound comes out long as White comes away with it. Dribbles in, a lot of contact, and finally a whistle and a foul on Chapmanville.
I believe that's going to be charged against Isaiah Fleming. That'll be his first. Team foul number 3 here in the quarter, actually number 4.
That's 4 team fouls against Chapmanville here in the second half, 1 against Scott. Looking to inbound, they get it into White underneath, kicks it back out for Carden. He'll drive left baseline, pull up jumper, no good, and rebounded by Dalton. So another good look for Scott. Just they've gone cold here the last several minutes from the field. Workman trying to get up against Dolan. Dolan all over him, gets it back to Dalton. Dalton double teamed. He's looking for help, loses the ball, has it knocked away. And boy, oh boy, they gave Brad Napper that timeout right at the last second. So that'll be a 30-second timeout, and we'll keep things here with Chapmanville leading by 3 and 7:19 to play. Just a reminder, this game also brought to you in part by Nationwide Insurance agent Greg Dalton, who is a proud supporter of Chapmanville Regional Athletics and the community of Logan County. For auto, home, life, and business insurance, call the Greg Dalton Agency at 304-855-4906. Greg Dalton Insurance with offices on Main Street in Chapmanville and Main Street in Logan. For all your sides, there is Nationwide. This is WVOW Logan. And again, right now, Joe, if you're Scott, you've got to like the looks that you're getting on the offensive end. They just haven't been able to cash in on some of these good looks.
Yeah, they've been all over the iron. They won't drop. It's either right side, left side, front, and it's just not the right angle. We're going to have to get a little more float on those, a little more air under that ball to make it go through the net.
And again, Chapmanville, they've been doing a good job of attacking the interior whenever they've had the opportunity, but again, Scott's swarming defense has definitely caused a lot of turnovers and a lot of problems here in the second half. Can they withstand it for the final 7 minutes? As Workman will dribble over to the right, finds Smith, a good look from 3, and he hits it from about the same spot as he did a moment ago, and the lead is ballooned to 6.
Back-to-back threes for Smith and the Tigers.
Now the other way, looking to answer is White, and he's able to do so. That is now his 6th 3 for the game. He's got 19.
And that's 3 threes here in the third.
Now here's Craddock. Yeah, second half.
You're right, I'm sorry.
Told you it's been flying by. Now Dalton gets to the left elbow, pull-up jumper, no good. Blevins fights to the board, and he's going to get tied up, and the possession arrow is with Scott with 6:47 to play, and they're trailing by 3. As Landon Stone will check back in, as Reese Carden will go to the bench to get a breather here. I think this might be the first time he's sat down tonight, as he looks a little exhausted at the moment, and as he should be, for as hard as they've been playing on both ends of the floor. As Setzer gets it over to White. Top of the key for Gator. Now finds Dolan. Scott patient on this possession. Back to Setzer. He's at the top of the key. Now backing in on Craddock. A nice backdoor pass for Dolan. Can't finish on the layup. Gets it back, however, and a foul on the floor. That'll be team foul number 5.
That'll be the third personal, I believe, charged against Colton Craddock, and it is. And Braxton Dolan will go to the charity stripe for 2.
And again, Dolan tonight, 7 points on the evening. He's 1 of 2 from the charity stripe. And his first free throw up and good. He's got 8 on the evening. Neither team shot a lot of free throws thus far tonight. Dolan able to can both free throws, and now we are back to a 1-point game.
6:27 to go on the clock. Couple substitutions coming in for both teams.
Now full court pressure will stay on for the Skyhawks. Smith gives it to Dalton. Cross-court pass finds Craddock into the middle for Workman. Lost it off his knee, but gets it back. Got caught in midair, but able to find Smith. Back over to Workman in the left corner. Now to Smith. Again, Smith has 12 points. He's knocked down back-to-back threes for Chapmanville. And now Scott has scored the last 5 as that one knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Scott.
Landon Stone did a nice job reaching in there. Just got enough on it to deflect it out of bounds at the Chapmanville bench.
Smith will trigger it in, throws it in off the back of Sharps and gets it back.
He saw that in the West Virginia game the other night.
That's what I was thinking. Boy, that was dangerous, but he was able to get it in with the pressure applied as now Blevins has it on the right side. Now back to Smith. Penetrates into a lot of pressure and finds Craddock out front. Now back to Smith. Has an opening. He'll go for 3. This one too strong. Dalton tries to tip it back, knocked away by Scott, and last touch by Dolan as he went into the Chapmanville bench. And we're down to 5:47 to go here in the fourth quarter. It's been tight all the way through. Again, the largest lead was 9 by Chapmanville. They tried to lob it in. Oh. What a pass to Dalton by Craddock. I don't know how that got through, but Dalton made the grab, and he's got 14.
Braxton Dolan there. They just launched it over his head, and he's not short by any means of the imagination.
Yeah, I thought that was going to get picked off there, but somehow got through that small gap. So now back to a 3-point lead as Stone tries to answer. What a slicing move on the inside, and he'll get in for the layup as Stone now into double figures with 10 points, and Sean Ballard calls a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep things here with 5:26 to go in the fourth quarter. And Chapmanville leading by 1 as we look at this on our Thornhill Auto Group instant replay. The lob pass into Brody Dalton there.
You couldn't have planned that one any better. That was a plan of perfection, as a coach would say.
Yeah, that one just a little over the outstretched fingertips of Braxton Dolan on that play. But again, this defense from Scott is really amped up here in the second half. And if you're Chapmanville, there are some gaps in this defense whenever they get them chasing, but I said it's just such a helter-skelter defense that Chapmanville's had a hard time kind of getting themselves set up on the offensive end. But we have seen Smith get free for a couple of threes, along with a couple of openings on both blocks. So we'll see if Chapmanville can hang on to possession and maintain the ball. They're usually able to find a good look, whereas Scott's been doing a nice job all the way around on the offensive end, as Stone has really done a terrific job of getting himself free on some of these short jumpers.
Tigers will inbound it. Scott will put on the full court pressure. Tigers get it across the timeline into the hands of Workman.
Now they go down low to Dalton. Got free and blocked from behind. Looked like Bisetzer got a piece of it. Now here comes Scott, a chance for the lead. Stone into the middle, drives in left side. Tough shot, can't get it off as Smith had good defense and might have altered that. Now over to Dalton, drives in left side. That's going to be a travel as he took one too many steps in as he got the layup to go, but 3 steps too many.
Yeah. Scott will inbound it, and Chapmanville looks like they're going to pick up a midcourt defense as Kevin White checks back into the lineup, give Braxton Dolan a breather for the Skyhawks.
Yeah, and there you saw in our video productions instant replay, it was 3 steps for Brody Dalton on that layup attempt. They go down low for Sharps. Again, 1-point lead for Chapmanville. Out front for Stone. Drives in on Craddock. Pump fakes. Goes up. Scott has the lead as Stone hits the turnaround, and he's got 12 points. 48-47. Triple team in the middle of the floor. Able to break it. Now 2-on-1 for Chapmanville. Craddock able to get it back up top as Scott was able to get back. Workman pump fakes a 3. Gives it over to Craddock. Baseline jumper up, and Colton Craddock able to hit. He's got 6. Inbounds pass, not looking initially with Stone, and throws it off of Craddock, or may have been out of bounds. I'm not sure. It looked like he threw it off of Craddock initially, but maybe he was out of bounds. We'll see if we can give it on the video productions replay.
I don't know, unless the replay shows me something different. I don't agree with the officials on that one. Here we go.
Yeah, so we'll see here again. Not looking on the inbounds pass with Stone, and then you saw a big cluster there, and Again, okay, well, it looked like it went underneath of Craddock's arm, but did Craddock touch it right around this portion? Again, you see Stone touches it, and it actually looks like it just missed Craddock completely somehow. Again, I thought maybe he got it with his hand as it was going out of bounds, but it looked like it got past him before it was able to touch him.
The official was right there, so we'll have to take his word for it and agree with him.
Yeah, so that was a wild little segment there, but again, we're still at a 1-point game with 4:24 remaining here in the fourth quarter as Scott takes their time out here. And again, there's, whoa, someone wanted us to make sure we heard that song. But yeah, Chapmanville has a couple of timeouts remaining. Scott with 3 apparently still on the ledger. But if you're Scott, you do have to like your chances with the way you've been able to apply pressure on Chapmanville, because they've really been speeding them up on the offensive end.
Absolutely, and it's been, you know, a really scrappy game here in the last 4 or 5 minutes of action. I tell you what, and it's both ways. And losing the handle on the ball has been a little problem for both teams as well.
Now it'll be Chapmanville ball inbounding from the far side. Again, going right to left across your computer screen and radio dial. Scott left to right. As Craddock will trigger it in. Throws it to Brody Dalton on the right side. Dalton going up against Setzer. Double team, spins inside. What a move by Dalton, and goes up with the left hand and able to convert.
Dalton has 16 points in the game. Here come the Skyhawks quickly across the timeline.
Now Gator gets it over to Stone. He'll drive to the free throw line. Nice move again. We get a whistle, and a blocking foul will go against Devin Workman, as that'll be team foul number 6 against Chapmanville. Still 1 against Scott.
That'll be his 3rd personal.
As we see on our Logan Regional Medical Center instant replay on Video Productions, Dalton calling for the clear out, spun away from the double team and was able to get that left-handed hook shot off. Now Stone has 12 points on the evening. 4:05 remaining. His first free throw up and good.
Skyhawks pull back within 2, 51-49, 4:05 to go in the game.
Stone looking to convert again, get this back to a 1-point game. Can't hit. White gets the rebound, lost it, gives it over to Stone though. Now into the corner, Carden for 3. No good. It was online but too strong. Rebounded by Blevins. Now up ahead. Here comes Chapmanville again. Scott has just been deadly on the offensive glass tonight, getting second opportunities. But now Chapmanville has a chance to push this out to a 2-possession lead again. It's over to Workman on the right wing, 3:42 to play. Workman drives in, cut off, looking for help. Now finds Dalton. Dalton over to Craddock. Craddock ball fakes, spins over to the left side, and he'll be fouled on the way up by Setzer, and that'll send him to the line to shoot 2.
It'll be 3rd personal on Setzer in the ball game.
Now Craddock, again 6'1" junior. Talked about him throughout the year. Again, he was a kid in JV the last couple of years, could really fill it up in a hurry, and starting to see him break out a little bit more each game on the offensive side. Again tonight with 6 points. His first free throws of the evening. This one rattles around and falls through.
I think it hit the rim about 3 times before it just finally decided to fall.
Yeah, I was going to say, he got himself a nice friendly roll off of it. Anytime I've gone out here and shot, you know, I just hope I hit anything. If it airballs and touches the net, it was all net, Joe.
Glass, metal, rope, whatever. Yeah.
Second free throw. This one's going to be short and rebounded by Setzer underneath. So 52-49, Chapmanville. Scott with the ball. As they get it over to Stone, he drives to the middle, now back out beyond the three-point line. He'll penetrate in on the left side, beats Dalton to the basket, but can't finish on the left-handed layup, as Dalton will get it up ahead to Workman. Workman, nice bounce pass across the timeline to Craddock, over to Dalton. Back up top for Smith at the top of the key, guarded by Carden. Over to Craddock on the left wing. Craddock goes inside for Dalton. Dalton spins to the middle, turnaround shot, short, tips it out, but they're going to get him over the back here, it appears.
Yeah, he reached, I mean, he was in the air. He just totally reached over the Scott player, but the official was right there calling the personal.
And that'll be number 2 on Dalton, and that is going to be team foul number 7 against Chapmanville. So we'll go to the other end to shoot a 1-and-1. Only 2 team fouls against Scott here in the second half.
White will be at the charity stripe. If he can bury him 2, Scott will pull back within 1.
Again, White is 1 of 1 from the line tonight and gets the friendly roll.
He got the bounce. It bounced about 3 times and off the glass and finally fell.
He's now got 20 points on the evening to go with those 6 3-pointers he's knocked down here tonight. So a chance to bring this to a 1-point game, and White able to get it to go. So now 52-51, exactly 3 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. As White in the middle as Craddock able to break it, gives it over to Dalton. Dalton into the middle, back out to Smith. Smith back to Dalton, over to Workman, now up top for Craddock. Craddock will drive in, slip, but gets it over to Butcher. Now to Smith, three from the left wing is short and rebounded underneath by Scott. Pass is dangerous, and Butcher got a hand on it and stolen by Craddock.
Not a smart move by Stone.
They get it out for Workman on the left wing. Again, 1-point lead for Chapmanville as we approach 2:25 to go in the fourth. Craddock over to Dalton in the right corner. Dalton, top of the key for Workman. Workman slices in, back to Dalton. Pump fakes on a three. He'll step back. Three on the way. Too strong, and the long rebound comes out to Craddock. Had it knocked away by Gator, but Chapmanville controls. Now back over to Butcher. Butcher on the right wing. Backing in, gives it off to Smith. Smith against Carden. Dribbles to the center. Had it poked away, but now to Dalton, and Brad Napper's going to want a timeout here with exactly 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and a 52-51 lead for Chapmanville. We'll be back in 60 seconds as you're watching and listening to Scott and Chapmanville basketball on WZAC, WVOW Radio, and on Video Productions.
Boone Memorial Hospital.
Climate Campbell, we pride ourselves on providing classic service.
You get a firm that's concerned about you, your family, as well as the legal process.
We combine the newest technology and digital tools.
With our 35 years of experience.
To help you get more than the insurance company wants to offer.
Traditional service.
Contemporary techniques.
It'll never go out of style.
Call 346-5990.
Steve, is that your car?
No, it's a rental.
Did you know when you send or receive a text message, you take your eyes off the road for 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving more than the length of a football field blindfolded. As a result, thousands of people die every year in crashes related to distracted driving. That's why we're cracking down on people who text or use their smartphones while driving. We would rather you cross the goal line alive. Law enforcement officers write tickets to save lives. Don't text and drive.
2 minutes to play in the fourth quarter here from Danny Gobby Gymnasium, and it's the Chapmanville Tigers clinging to a 1-point lead. Chris Kidd and Joe Linville here with you as Chapmanville with the ball out of the timeout. Out front, that's poked away. Stolen by White. He's on a run out against Smith. Can't finish. Rebounded though by Dolan. He loses it. Workman hits the deck trying to grab it. He just goes into the fetal position to hang on to it. And a timeout called by Brad Napper with 1:47 to go, and a missed opportunity for Scott on the turnover.
There again, what I was talking about a few minutes ago, handling the ball. They're having trouble. It's almost like the ball is slick and they can't grab it or something, like there's grease on it.
Well, it's like you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Joe. Again, this is a 2-7 Scott team, but definitely better than what the record reflects. Again, I said they've lost 5 games by 8 points or less, and you've even mentioned that they've had their difficulties closing in this spot. This could be that chance to get over that hump for them.
Yeah, the trail Chapmanville by 1. There's so many close games, and they played a tough schedule. I think they're much better than a 2-7 team.
Yeah.
But like I said, you've got to learn how to finish these games out. This is their opportunity to redeem themselves.
And again, on the other end for Chapmanville, again, this is a growing up moment right here. Again, you saw a little bit of that in the game over at Scott, able to pull that out, even though they were trailing at different points in the second half. Now, can they hang on to a game where they've held the lead, albeit tenuously, all throughout? Again, it's not as if Chapmanville has been dominating the entire game. It's been back and forth on both sides. Just every time Scott has gotten to within 1 or tied the game, Chapmanville has had an answer. So do they have another one here tonight? And now Chapmanville, they are out of timeouts. That was their final one, and that is a big thing going forward here with this full court pressure by Scott.
Tigers will inbound it. Scott showing full court press.
So it'll be Smith to trigger it in, gets it into Dalton. Again, 1:45 to go, 1-point Chapmanville lead as Craddock gets it across the timeline, guarded by Gator. Looking for help as he picks up his dribble. Butcher over to Workman. Now down low to Dalton. Dalton in on Dolan, spins to the basket, and he hits the deck as he's fouled. And that'll send Brody Dalton to the free throw line to shoot 2 as they get the foul on Dolan.
That'll be Dolan's third personal. He and Setzer both have 3. Otherwise, White has 1, Gator has 1, and that's all the fouls that Scott's committed tonight.
So Brody Dalton with 16 points on the evening. He's 2 of 3 from the free throw line. 2 big free throws coming here as the sophomore cans the first.
Tigers make it a 2-point game, 1:33 showing on the clock.
And again, all that experience he got last year as a freshman playing with Andrew Scholl, with Philip Mullins, Obina Chile Killen. Hand hit on the second free throw, however, it's a 2-point Chapmanville lead. It's now under a minute and a half to go. Gator gets it over to Stone. He'll dribble left side, spins in on Craddock, kicks it out to Carden. We get a whistle. And what do we have?
I think they're going to get Stone with a charge, maybe? Yep.
Yes, it will be a charge on Stone, and he's been so effective with that dribble penetration spin move tonight, but that time Chapmanville held their water and got the charge.
First personal in the game for Stone. Full court pressure now being applied by the Skyhawks.
Down to 1:18 to go in regulation. Over to Dalton, cross court. 2-point Chapmanville lead. Dalton lost his dribble, somehow got it back. Got it to Butcher, and now whistling a charge on Dalton as standing in was White, and he was able to hold his ground, and that'll go back over to the Skyhawks. That'll be number 3 on Brody Dalton. Now we're down to a minute 11 to go against Scott with a chance to tie or take the lead with a 3. As Gator crosses mid-court. Workman on him. They get it over to Dolan at the top of the key. Behind his back. Back out for Carden. Now to Landon Stone. 55 seconds to go. Again, White cuts to the basket. They get it over to Carden. Again, Carden and White are the 2 outside threats that Chapmanville has to watch here. Now up top. Here's Dolan. He will take this 3. Short with it. Goes out of bounds. Nearly saved by Carden. Finds White. He drives in. Can't finish. There's Dolan on the rebound. Goes back up. Can't finish on that either. 2 layup opportunities, and Scott could not convert on either, and Dalton throws it off the leg of Gator out of bounds, and it'll go to Chapmanville.
You got to finish.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Again, 2 very good looks there for the Skyhawks, and could not get either in order to try and tie this game. Now in the backcourt, 30 seconds to go. Chapmanville breaks the pressure, 2-on-1. Wallace pass, knocked away by Dolan. Here comes Scott back the other way. 22 seconds left. Stone into the corner. He's double teamed. Tries to throw it off of Workman and does, and that'll give it to Scott with 17.7 seconds to go, trailing by 2, and a timeout by Sean Ballard will keep things here with Chapmanville clinging to a 2-point lead. But boy, Scott had their chances to tie this game. Chapmanville had a chance to more or less put the game away on a layup, and that's what Brad Napper's telling Devin Workman right now. You had a 2-on-1. Go ahead and take that, but it was a great play by Dolan getting his hand in the passing lane and being able to deflect that away to save the game for Scott.
Yeah, it's like both teams are trying to find every way in the world to give the game away. 17 seconds to go, and Coach Sean Ballard calls the timeout, tries to set up something to make something happen to either tie it up, put it into overtime, or hopefully he can score the 3-pointer and put the game away and win it by 1.
And I was going to say, if you're Scott right here, you got to figure that they're going to find or try and find Kevin White as best they can. Again, 21 points for the game, 6 3-pointers on the evening, and Carden got a couple of threes in the first half. But you got to figure that he or Stone are probably going to be the 2 main targets for Scott on this possession.
You know, if you can't get the 3-point look, at least try to tie it up and send it into OT.
And now we'll see what Chapmanville comes out with defensively here.
Send it right down to the wire.
Here we go. It'll be Scott ball. Scott still has 2 timeouts remaining. Again, 18 fouls against Chapmanville. So the next foul will still be a 1-on-1 if one is to occur here. They get it into White. White at near midcourt, picks up his dribble over to Carden, down to 12 seconds. Now to Gator with 10 seconds. Up top, Stone down to 8 seconds. He's got to go. Looks over for Dolan with 5 seconds. Up top, Carden. He'll go for the win. Count it! He hit it! Oh, my gosh, he hit it! He nailed it! And now will do it! What a finish as Reese Carden hits a 3 from the top of the key in order to end a 5-game losing streak for Scott and end an 11-game losing streak against the Chapmanville Tigers, their first win over Chapmanville since 2016. And what a ball game here tonight as we take a look at it on our Video Productions Instant Replay. Break it down, Joe.
They get it over to Dolan. They kick it back out quickly. Carden takes the jumper just about 3 foot behind the arc, and he just drills that basketball for the 3-pointer to put the Skyhawks up by 1 and pull off the victory for Scott.
And again, that was a great design, tough shot as well. It was good defense by Chapmanville on the play. Carden was fading away and was still able to get enough on that to get it all the way to the rim. Again, that was his first three since the first half, and he made it when it counted for his 11th point for Scott to pull off the thrilling win here tonight from Danny Gobby Gymnasium. Well, Joe and I will step aside for a 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about tonight's action from Chapmanville, West Virginia, as you're listening to and watching Chapmanville and Scott basketball with us right here on WVOW Radio in Logan, West Virginia, WZAC Radio, Madison, West Virginia, and on Video Productions.
GM Superstore is your full-service Buick, Chevy, and GMC dealer. Go Thornhill and expect the best with total value, service, and pricing on your next ride. Home of the Thornhill 10120. You'll get total support with Thornhill GM Superstore.
Kinzel Law Office is a local firm located at 36 Adams Street in Chapmanville. Rob Kinzel has been practicing law in Logan County for over 15 years and is dedicated to providing quality legal representation for personal injury, criminal defense, and family law for individuals and families throughout southern West Virginia. Call Kinzel Law Office today to set up your free consultation. Rob Kinzel, quality legal services close to home.
Peyton, what are we doing here?
Welcome to Peytonville. Nationwide helps protect everything you see in here, Brad. Every family, every business, even Mrs. Hoffman's dream of retiring to become a yoga instructor.
Oh, they have backstories.
Here, I got more to show you.
You can breathe easier at Boone Memorial Hospital, now with pulmonologist Dr. Richard McNeely. Come see us if you have concerns about your breathing issues.
Boone Memorial Hospital, bringing medicine home.
And what a win tonight for the Scott Skyhawks as they win it at the buzzer on a Reese Carden three-pointer to end a 5-game losing streak and put Chapmanville at 4-5 on the year. Chris Kidd and Joe Linville here with you. And again, Joe, you mentioned it in the pregame, talked about it at the end. This is a Scott team that has been close, hasn't been able to get over the hump, and this right here might be a big propelling point for them as they head down the end stretch of these final 2 weeks heading towards tournament play.
Yeah, that would have to be a definite confidence booster for Scott. Now they go back home and face a very talented Lincoln County team on Friday night, so hopefully that'll give them enough juice to get things pumped up and to be ready for the Lincoln County squad this Friday.
Yeah, again, that's going to be a tough game. Again, I think Logan has Lincoln County tomorrow night, and I said they had tough tussle the first time around, so another really good test for this Scott team. As you mentioned, the difficult schedule doesn't ease up.
That's for sure. Let's go ahead and take a look at the scoring from tonight's game. First, I'll take a look at the Skyhawks. Kevin White, man, what a job. He just drilled the threes tonight. Matter of fact, didn't even have a two-point basket, scored 21 points to lead all scoring for Scott. Following behind him was Landon Stone with 13, Reese Carden with 11, and Braxton Dolan with 9. Jaron Gator did not have any points in the ballgame. Now let's take a look at the Tigers.
On the other end, Brody Dalton led the way for Chapmanville with 17 points. Isaiah Smith with 12 points. Zion Blevins, another strong showing for him with 10 points. Then you had Colton Craddock with 7 points. Devin Workman with 5 points. And Hunter Jeffrey with 2 points to round out the scoring here tonight for Chapmanville as it's 54-53. Scott wins it. We'll step aside for our final 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about tonight's action here from Danny Gobby Gymnasium as you're listening to and watching Chapmanville and Scott basketball on WZAC in Madison, WVOW in Logan, and Video Productions.
If you're driving
Evans Funeral Home and Cremation Services, founded in 1975 by Riley Joe Evans, is a full-service funeral provider, and 2020 makes it 45 years of offering services that respect all faiths, personal preferences, and financial considerations. They're the only funeral home in Boone, Lincoln, and Logan with its own crematory. Contact Evans Funeral Home and Cremation Services at 304-855-3232 or visit www.evans-funeral-home.com or like Evans Funeral Home and Cremation Services on Facebook to see their updated obituary information.
You can breathe easier at Boone Memorial Hospital, now with pulmonologist Dr. Richard McNeely. Come see us if you have concerns about your breathing issues.
Boone Memorial Hospital, bringing medicine home.
With all that's going on, Mullen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling wants to remind our neighbors we're here for you. We're taking extra precautions to protect you and our employees. Right now, we're offering 6-month no-interest financing to help you stay comfortable throughout this crisis. Our superior indoor air filtration options will keep viruses, bacteria, and allergens down, increasing indoor air quality, comfort, and safety. Call us today and see how we can help you. Mullen, we're comfortable when you are.
Peyton, what are we doing here?
Welcome to Peytonville. Nationwide helps protect everything you see in here, Brad. Every family, every business, even Mrs. Hoffman's dream of retiring to become a yoga instructor.
Oh, they have backstories.
Here, I got more to show you.
Hit a 3 from the top of the key to drill it. And the Skyhawks come up with the 54-53 win over the Tigers. First win in how many games or how many years? Or it's been a long time, trust me.
It happened in the regular season 2016, right before that sectional win for Chapmanville at Logan in that controversial ending. Right. And since then, Chapmanville had won 11 in a row over the Skyhawks, but they finally able to break that here tonight on that three-pointer by Reese Carden. And it's time now on Video Productions for our Boone Memorial Hospital Player of the Game. And, you know, Kevin White had an awesome game with 6 threes and 21 points, but man, it's hard to not give it to Reese Carden, and that's who we're giving it to here on this.
I totally agree with you. I mean, an outstanding performance by White, 21 points. But when you make the game-winning shot in a crucial game like this, in a rivalry game to boot, you got to give it to Carden. Here we go. One more look here on Video Productions. Man, he just drilled it.
It was. That was such a good play design. Again, we thought maybe Stone or White on this situation because Carden hadn't done much offensively in the second half, but they trusted him in this spot, and right there, Sean Ballard is rewarded by giving that to Carden at the end, and he buries that tough three-pointer to end the ball game here tonight. So Reese Carden, our Boone Memorial Hospital Player of the Game. So again, now we lurch forward a little bit in this season, as you mentioned. Scott will be hosting Lincoln County on Friday night. I'm sure you'll be there for that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll be back here on Thursday night for Chapmanville and Wayne and see how the Chapmanville Tigers bounce back. But what I really like tonight is, Joe, is that both teams, I mean, yeah, there were some turnovers on both ends, but it was because of the defense on both sides. And you know what? Both these teams look pretty good tonight, I thought.
I thought so as well. I mean, there was times actually both teams maybe got a little bit sloppy with the ball handle, but it all worked out in the end. I thought they both played very evenly against each other and made the right adjustments at the right time, and it was just Scott's night to come up with the win.
And again, it was a wonderful game tonight. We're glad we were able to bring it to you here on our dueling radio stations as well as on Video Production. So again,
and the Skyhawk Sports Network.
There we go. I told you guys.
ChapmanvilleTigers.tv. And I don't know if we're on anything else or not.
I was going to say, if you couldn't find it tonight, then Lord help you. I don't know what to do.
Exactly.
But yeah, this was a great one to call. It's always fun working with my buddy down Corridor G, Joe, on these broadcasts. And I said it's been a great evening here tonight. And, it's unfortunate we don't get to see it in tournament play, at least for the foreseeable future. But you know what? There's always next year.
Absolutely. And you say you guys are on the air Thursday night.
Yes. Again, that'll be us in Chapmanville and Wayne with me and Nathan Bush. And then Saturday, it'll be Chapmanville against Herbert Hoover. And I'll have Devin Collins, former state champion with Chapmanville and current Marshall
I ran into
player.
Devin the other night at Hacienda, free plug. But anyway, I just kind of looked up and I said, when did you grow another foot, young man? I mean, I just couldn't believe how much that young man's grown. Yeah, it was good to see him catch up.
I'm going to make him sit like a couple rows down.
He'll be the same way.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting having a current Marshall Thundering Herd basketball player here with us. So make sure you're with us on Saturday night as well. Make sure you're with Joe on WZAC on Friday night.
Actually, I got a girls' game on Thursday night.
There you go.
Nitro comes to Scott, so we'll have that game, and then we'll be on with Lincoln County on Friday night here on WZAC and the Skyhawks Sports Network.
And if you haven't had enough of me on video productions, I'll be in Charleston Catholic tomorrow night for, I believe, the girls' game and the boys' game against Polka, starting at 5 o'clock. So, again, if you're sick of Joe Linville and I'm sorry, but we're not going anywhere at the moment.
That's pretty much going to wrap up our coverage tonight. Final score, Scott over Chapmanville, 54-53 for Garrett Lester and Chris Kidd and all the other production back at the station and studios and so forth. You've been listening to high school basketball on WVOW, WZAC, Video Productions, and the Skyhawks Sports Network. Good night, everyone.
Nice, bro.